Welcome back to the Tribal Lines podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Lupo, here with my co-host, Pat Johnson, and guest host, Jay West. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
What's up? What's up?
Jay West, welcome back to the pod. Happy to have you back on the pod. Steve, thanks for bringing us in. Jay West, how's it been, man? Tell us what's been going on.
Well, everything's been crazy. As you can hear, I got a dog just recently. But besides that, still watching Survivor, still loving the game. And yeah, still being Wild West.
Nice.
I got a husky if anybody want one.
Yeah. If you're interested in
Roger.
getting a dog, you got to pass the Jay West test, though. He's only gonna give the dog to someone that
What's
knows.
up, Roro?
Jay West, I want to know though, just overall feelings of the season so far before we hop in. We have a little bit of a different type of episode to get into. We're going to be recapping a little bit of episode 5, mainly episode 6, but we did miss out. But Jay West, I want to just kind of hear your initial thoughts on the season thus far.
I apologize, guys. This dog is going crazy right now.
No,
He's
you're-
never like this. But really,
He's just excited for Survivor.
That's
yeah,
right.
give me a second. I'm gonna just put him outside real fast.
Yeah, no
Give me one
problem.
second.
Okay, sounds good.
I apologize.
No, you're fine.
All right, my fault, y'all. I just put the dog outside. But besides getting a crazy dog this season, to me, it's been like up and down. All right, y'all might drag me a little bit, but I'm here for it. I'm happy that we got a little bit of our Banu out the system, like out of our system. I feel like it's going to be good throughout the rest of the season. That's how I feel through the new 40 era. We all been pretty hard. Like we all been like I don't know. It's a lot of new fans that's watching Survivor, right? And everyone's expecting so much, but I think it's because we bench watch a lot of the seasons. But really, it's been a lot of good preseason and terrible endings or upsetting winners to some. But I think this season we had our little entertainment in the beginning, but I see nothing but good from here on out. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited for the rest of the season. The beginning was definitely a slow start with Yanu losing so many challenges and us seeing Banu cry for 50% of the episodes. But now we had Banu was literally the pre-merge, and then now we are in the merge stage of the game, and we have a lot of great players, a lot of people who will be considered as threats and targeted as such. So we are going to get a good winner, I think, this season. Like that would be absolutely insane if the three worst people all make it to the end. I don't see that happening. Um, as long as we don't have a Liz winner, as long as we don't have
Yeah, that hits personal with Jay West.
It's because I love Fresh Prince. I love Liz. You know, she in the preseason she was a big Fresh Prince person. She said call her Fresh Prince Liz. That's what she's called online. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
was a big Liz fan, and right now they giving her a terrible edit. So I don't know, but that's just me.
Yeah. And then Venus, I think a lot of people would be happy with her as a winner, but it seems like she's playing a really bad game.
I don't know how she's gonna
So
get
I
it.
don't see how she can physically win this. It's like impossible
Mhm.
at this point.
See, I don't know. At first I would listen to a lot of podcasts. I listened to you guys. Obviously, I heard your takes on Venus. I listened to pretty much everyone, but I agree for the most part. It's going to be really hard for her to win. But I think her move that she made last tribal was very necessary. We were going to talk about it this episode, but I really do because her whole tribe is basically a dominant tribe, and I see her whole tribe making it to jury, right? And if none of them like Venus and none of them respect Venus, what else would she have to do? She got to make moves on the other side. But if her whole other tribe is already painting a target on her back without even the other people getting to meet her, it's already an uphill battle. So if she go to tribal and survive and be bold, she's going to draw a line in the sand, and it might even sway some of her old tribe mates to want to play with her. But if she played a sheep game, continue to play the game that she would have been playing without even speaking up at tribal, I feel like they would have continued to want to target her or even bring her to the end, and that's definitely no votes. So, I feel like that was a Hail Mary play last tribal. She didn't get voted out, so the sky's the limit for her.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll mention my views on the whole Venus situation later on in the pod. But let's do our trivia question for the pod. So we have the book right here, Survivor Trivia. We're gonna let this time, Jay West, you being the guest host, we'll let you select the page number. So pick a page number between 1 and 204.
All right, so my favorite number is 31, strictly because, fun fact, no one asked, but I'm a huge Fresh Prince fan. He was number 41 and 14, and he played against this one dude who was number 31 that busted his ass. So I said, ever since then, I'm gonna love that guy that beat Fresh Prince. And yeah, so 31 is the number.
31, okay. The Fresh Prince. All right. Okay, this is a good question. All right, so through 45 seasons, 6 contestants have won individual immunity 5 times in a single season. Name 3 of them. All right, so DM us at tribal_lines_pod on Instagram. Your 3 people out of those who you think won individual immunity at least 5 times in a single season. And if you get them right, you will get a spot on the wheel to possibly win some really cool Survivor stuff. So definitely DM us. It's free to enter, so why not?
Yeah, I feel like this question poses as like an easy one, but I'm thinking on it, and I feel like this might be more of a challenging one because there's just a lot of people that have like been either painted as like a compy, so it's easy to think of those names like off the bat, but like maybe they didn't win as much because they didn't make it as far. So there's a lot of things to consider when answering that question, but we're looking for 3. So make
Yep.
sure you DM us and we'll be able to see if you're right or see if you're wrong. But 45 seasons Survivor, there's a lot of players, a lot to choose from. So I can see it being a pretty dicey question. So best of luck.
Yeah, here we go. All right, so we were unable to, Pat and I were really busy last week, so we couldn't record episode 5 recap, but we're going to give you a quick, short episode 5 recap right now before we hop into episode 6. So let's go over the most important things in that episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, one of the more important things, a lot of actually things, not including Siga, happened with Hunter in this episode. Hunter finding the Beware advantage, which I was so happy for him because I know he's going to be targeted for just being a big threat at the merge. So having an idol is huge for him. So I was very happy about that. Um, and then he hops on this journey with Tim and Q, and it ends up being the 3 biggest physical threats on each team, each tribe, and they try to make a journey alliance where they take their closest ally, each of them, and make a 6-person alliance, which will pretty much be majority at the merge. Hunter picks Tevin, Q picks Tiffany, Tim picks Maria, which I was really surprised about because I thought he was going to pick Ben.
Yeah,
What
so
what
did
do you
Maria.
think
We
about
found
that?
that out in a different part, but bit of a surprise there for Tim. I mean, but I'm also not surprised because the edit has shown us that it is maybe one-sided to where Maria has really only talked about like it was very highlighted like Charlie's Angels, right? So it's Charlie and the women, and then we see that in this episode, inevitably it's not Charlie and the Angels, right? But it seems to me that they've always shown us with Tim's perception having Maria a lot closer to him than it actually maybe really is. Uh,
Mhm.
I wonder if it's just Maria just has so many more options than Tim, or if Tim is just like lacking that awareness of knowing where he stands, like in that social hierarchy with Maria. So
I
interesting.
think it's Maria and Charlie are doing a really good job not showing that they're a duo.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody thinks they're as close as they are, which is a great thing for them. Um, and but I'm still confused with the whole Tim and Ben thing. Like I guess I understand like Maria did vote with them, so Tim probably still thinks that Maria and him were always close and that there was never a chance that she was gonna go with the girls, and that's probably why.
Yeah.
But I definitely was shocked about that it was not Ben because it just constantly shows us in the edit, mainly because of the guys versus girls thing, um, that Tim and Bed were on one side and Jem and Mo were on the other side. So
Yeah. I rewatched that episode because I'm a huge Gem fan. Spoiler alert. But no, during that journey, I realized when Q made that alliance or offered to the guys, Hunter and Tim, I realized that Tim, yeah, he said Maria, but he did say because she had that extra vote. So maybe he picked Maria strictly because he thought that, like, look, we knew that Maria and Tevin both had the extra vote, has the extra vote. Hunter already said Tevin, so I'm gonna just say the other person that went on the advantage to cover his own ass. He doesn't have a real close person from us viewing the game. We do see Ben with Charlie a lot. We see Charlie with Maria a lot. So we see Charlie in the best position. We really never see who Tim is actually playing with throughout the game. We really never see anyone else on Sega. So realistically, him saying Maria, I wasn't shocked because she looks like, from my position, she looks like the person with the most power. And if we're outside looking in, if we're on the drive, we would say either Hunter or Tevin has the most power because they went on that, advantage. They're not losing, plus they have the extra vote. So maybe I don't know. That's
I
just
think
my
that's a great point. I really do. I think that definitely I feel like his two closest allies, probably his two number ones, are Maria and Ben. And then if he had to choose one, Maria has that extra vote. So going into the merge at 13, let's say, you have a group of 6, but that's still not majority. So then Maria's extra vote can help. Tevin's extra vote can help. And also, if he brought in Ben, it would practically, other than Tiffany, be like an all guys alliance, which I think could get clocked really quick. So I feel like having another girl in that alliance could also definitely help them.
That's true. Yeah, that would have been very guy heavy. It would have been
Yeah.
just Tiff, which
Yeah.
wouldn't fare well, probably. Probably
Yeah,
get
yeah,
out.
definitely not. And then Hunter gets to compete for an advantage in a Survivor trivia game, ordering 20 logos in a row. He is one of the biggest super fans on the season, and he can't figure out the order of the seasons. That's crazy. I don't care if you watched it out of order. You should know the order of the seasons, especially when the names of them are actually on the logo.
Yeah, this might have been the only advantage I ever won. Like this would have been like my best shot at winning an advantage from everything
Yeah.
that I've seen. But at the same time, like, was it out there like day 10, day 12?
Day 11, I think. Yeah, it was day 11.
Yeah, I mean, just like the mental fatigue of like putting things in order. Like, I don't. It is what it is. But at the same time, like, yeah, I really expected him to like get that like pretty easily. I expected anybody to get that like pretty easily. I feel like if you're like a super fan, like everybody is on the show that plays now, I feel like that's like a gimme. I feel like I thought initially it was like really hard. I was like, like they're not gonna have like the names on there. It's just gonna be like a logo. And I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do that. But with the names, I'm like, dude, that's so easy.
Yeah. And also, what did you guys think about? So I know that they were able to know that it was going to be Survivor trivia and get to choose one of them to go. So obviously whoever knew the most about Survivor would go. But what did you guys think about there being a Survivor trivia game on Survivor when you're not required to necessarily study Survivor to be on Survivor? Like all the puzzles and stuff should be just stuff you can do regardless of if you know the show or not. So like, what do you think about that?
um, good question. I mean, for me, like, it's one of those things where they're all super fans, so like everybody that plays now is a super fan. They probably know that. And I think it's also as that other element of like they got to talk about it. So someone like Q who's like I'm not as like up to par. He might be like on the lower end of like a super fan that's like playing this season. So the fact they were able to have a discussion about it made it a little better
Hmm.
because had it not been a discussion and like let's just say like I don't know, could you imagine like when they used to just like do recruits and asking a recruit to do like Survivor trivia, they would be like,
Yeah.
like how to play this game. Like I'm here because I'm like a model, So it's like,
Hmm. And I feel like they put that on there because maybe they realize so many people keep losing their votes. Like let's give somebody a real chance of getting an advantage. Easy
How about
survivor trivia, everyone should know it, and then
let's
they
just take
will.
it away. Let's just
I,
remove. I like journeys, but we don't have to compete for something every time. Information is key. Like there could be like a different way to go about it.
I think that all the journeys should be head to heads where one person loses their vote and one person gets an advantage. It should you shouldn't come out of a journey with just everybody losing their vote. Like I just think that's silly. If you're going to make people lose their votes, make it happen to only one person
Yeah.
and not that often. So I don't know. Yeah, I feel like if let's say it was three people, one person could win an advantage. Whoever comes in second, nothing happens. Whoever comes in third loses their vote. Like something like that. That would also be interesting to watch on the screen too. Um, and then you can lie about if you won the advantage or not because it'll be done in private. I think that could make it definitely interesting. But the fact that Hunter, after getting the Be Aware advantage, already lost his vote, and then he just lost his vote again from the Survivor trivia game, like that shouldn't be allowed. You can't lose a vote that you don't have.
It's like -1 votes.
Yeah, he had like -1 votes. I was like, what if they went to tribal? Like, was he just not gonna have a vote and then just have extra time to find the idol before he can get his vote back for the next one? I don't know. That's why I think it's so stupid that beware advantages make you lose your vote. And then there's journeys that make you lose your vote too. Like, stop making people lose their votes. Like,
Yeah, it's just too much. I
I
wouldn't mind.
feel like having like one vote already on you at tribal council could be like an interesting twist rather than like not having your vote.
Yeah.
That could be, but I don't know.
I love the Zelensky journey. When him, Tevin, and Maria, when they all had to like, they should have just played with that pretty different, like a lot of different ways with the players that it would have caused a divide throughout the season because people were like, oh, that's a good liar. Oh, he's a terrible
Yeah.
liar. Oh, we can play with each other. If they would have just kept bringing that back, and we see Banu, he went home and he didn't even have a say. Like, let's just say Banu, he pulled the shitty rock and like he was Liz in that sense, and he didn't even have to make a puzzle. He would have went to tribal with a vote. That was crucial. And he lost. Him and Ben lost his vote. So now to come to this challenge, we watch Tim and Q get an option, which sucks. Like they was like, yeah, bro, like Tim like, I need my vote. I'm going to fucking tribal. So did Mono. Like let's just be
Yeah,
real.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know. I see what Survivor's doing. Like I feel like it was fucked up for Hunter to get that many chances to lose his vote. It's like he owes Survivor an
Mhm.
extra vote or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like something like the first challenge that I think will maybe be a little bit more fair of a like a lying type challenge to earn your vote, earn an extra vote, or lose a vote is if this has been done on other reality shows, I think before or game shows, but like you have one person looks in a box and it either is empty or it has something in it. Let's say it says like you get an advantage, or it says like you lose your vote, and then you see one person sees what's in the box, and then the other person has to either choose to take their box or let them keep their box, and the person who sees what's inside the box can lie to them about what's in the box or tell them the truth, and the other person has to determine if they're lying or not. I think that would be a fun challenge to include into one of the journeys.
Yeah, better than half the shit they got going on now.
What
Yeah,
about this?
seriously.
What about this challenge? Like, let's say, perfect, it's three of us, right? We do something like this, like a quick circle. We all come from different things. We all pick who we want to vote out. Like, we got to vote. Like, we got an hourglass that's for 30 seconds. And then let's just say, Pat and Steve, you want to vote me out. Now I have the option to drag whoever I want. And that person who I don't drag, that other person gets the extra vote.
That would
And
be wild.
that would be wild. But at the end of the day, that Pat would be pissed or Steve would be pissed at me. But I'd be like, bro, y'all both voted me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the end of the day, it's not a real vote out. It's just
Right, right.
something to where
It's just
it's just given.
determining who gets the
Yeah,
advantage.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because like we all want an advantage. I think about it a lot, like a lot of different ways for to cause a divide or you know chaos throughout the season. Because I do hate this three tribe thing. But I feel like what Jim did this season was very necessary to go in. Not necessary from the viewer standpoint, not really for her game, but it it will help now for her to go into that tribe. Well, look, it was the Vibe tribe, and now they don't really even know who to trust anymore. But going into merge, they still are kind of tight. But look at them, like everyone else, they rather go after the person who are tighter together. Like it was like, look, you guys are messy. I'm gonna keep you guys here. Let's just go for the tightest people for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we'll definitely talk more about that once we get to episode 6. But I feel like
Apologize. Yeah.
100%. That was like, if you're gonna choose, if you're Yanu and you're gonna choose whether to go with to keep a tribe around with more numbers that already have so many cracks and like don't trust each other and want to vote each other out, compared to a tribe with the same number of people who all are saying, I won't vote out someone in my tribe. There's no cracks. Like, we all voted together like literally yesterday. And we're united. Someone who was even on Siga at Tribal Council said how, like, said the word vibes, like that we're all that Siga's all vibes. Hunter said that. Hunter said Siga's all vibes. So apparently they were telling people too that they're the vibe tribe. So it was just like destined for a Siga to go home at that point. Like, sometimes showing that you're super united is actually a bad thing at the merge, especially when you're tied for the most numbers.
It also just becomes, you don't want to look too intimidating, and you don't want to look like that you're not like approachable, or that you're not an option for somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they're pretty much being like, if you want to work with me, you got to work with all of my Siga members. And that's like, no, like you shouldn't be like that. You should be playing for yourself and trying to protect your Siga members at the same time, but not be like, you can't just pull me in. You would have to pull in all of the Sigas because I won't vote out a Siga.
Yeah, it's a little too outward for me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like a little too, but we'll definitely get into that. I kind of want to talk about before we talk about the Siga tribe, because we're gonna have to kind of dive into them because of the tribal council. I want
Hmm.
to talk about Q and his strategy. I want to hear from Jay West. Q has had a couple different occasions where he feels like, he tells Kenzie like, I could quit. I feel like quitting. Like, and we know that that's so against his like moral code, his character. Like, what do you think of that kind of strategy to like to put that onto someone else? Like, like, I'm gonna quit. Like, kind of like
So
to,
that, yeah, so that she doesn't play her shot in the dark.
yeah. So she doesn't play her shot in the dark, and like
Um, I feel
just
like with those three people, it's okay to say, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like attitude is contagious. He was very checked out when he said that the first time. He actually said it a couple times in the confessionals.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't know. He's a wild card, but
yeah.
for him to say it to Kinsey, and Kinsey to survive enough to make it to merge is dangerous. He didn't add Kinsey into that +1 alliance. He added Tiff. And what if Kinsey gets some win on that? She got enough charisma to fuck with everybody in this whole island. So if she turned everybody against Q, it can happen. And just because it's easy as Q said he wanted to go home. Simple as that. You can ask Tiff. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
it's like, that's his fault for saying it a few times.
That's also going to be crazy if the alliance gets outed and then people who are close with the people in that alliance from their own tribe are like
What alliance?
confused. Like, for
That's six,
example,
the
like,
Journey 6.
yeah, the Journey 6. Like, I think if there's going to be a crack that tells someone outside of the alliance, it's going to be Maria telling Charlie.
Yeah.
And then if that gets around, one, Ben will probably be annoyed at Tim. Kenzie will be annoyed at Tiff and Q, and Liz will probably be annoyed, and Liz and Soda will probably be mad at Tevin and Hunter. So, like, it could blow up a lot of shit if
I think I think that Tevin, I mean not Tevin, I think that Tim is still in a good spot though. If it gets blown up, because he didn't initiate this alliance, and he didn't even tell Maria. He's like we all heard how he talked to Maria. Like, if we like thinking like, if you're the number one Maria, you should have updated him the whole time. But long story short, if that alliance get blown up, I think it goes back to Q being demanding and controlling on the island like he is already. And I feel like he would be pissed off and try to get revenge on someone that actually told, and everyone would easily turn on Q. So yeah, Maria, she holds the most cards because she was the last to find out, and I think she will tell Charlie. But I think the most person that would get in trouble, they would stay Stiga strong right then and there. They wouldn't want to go after Tim, and I think they would go after Q.
Yep, I agree. I don't think Q's going to be able to make it that much further. I think within the next 3 or 4 votes, he'll be gone.
Yeah.
He's too big of a threat. He's too big of a strategist, and he also like wants to get his way. So those 3 things all together is definitely not a good combination. He'll slip up somehow. He hasn't slipped up yet, which is surprising. He's been
I
doing
think
a
he's,
great
I
job,
think
but he's
I
gonna
think
slip.
he's been doing a great job more than everyone else because like everyone from that tribe, I forget the tribe, that purple tribe.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Yanu.
Yanu
Yanu,
Rodano.
yeah, yeah, everyone from Yanu, they all are more seasoned. I always say that. Like when I played with you guys in Game 5 from competitive events, I was like, I'm more seasoned than y'all at this point because I've been in tribal more than everybody. And I went to merge with just me and Kay. It was me and her on Orange. So I'm like, I'm dangerous because I know what it's like here. I cut off everybody.
I didn't think I was
And
going for you every single round.
Yeah,
bro,
tactics are
I was
coming through.
very aware. But at the end of the day, I knew how to maneuver through all of that. And then some of y'all was like, we didn't go to tribal yet. We don't know. I seen people play idols at tribal. And we seen, I mean, Q seen some shit. So he like, at the end of the day, he like, I got more say, I got more sway, and everyone from that tribe, they're safe. That was the more crazier part about this whole episode. I'm like, finally, they're keep coming out on top. So
Right.
they
And
holding on the card.
also Q made a comment in the at tribal council to Mo, kind of like explaining how like if you had told me that you were on the bottom, like that would have been a good information to know because that would have been valuable for me and could have allowed me to work with you. And he was like explaining like what a good move would have been in Survivor, and he was like coaching Mo at tribal council, kind of like he was doing to Banu, which I mean, I feel like that didn't really affect him much, but it could have put a big target on his back for just openly showing his different strategies that he was thinking about.
Yeah, and I think there's a world where pretty soon people might get sick of like some accused antics and his like persistency on some things. But
Mhm.
at the same time, like, isn't there something to be said about you? And we're gonna talk more about this in when we get further along, but utilizing your position at the bottom and capitalizing on it when you get into the new stage of the game after we've seen the last couple of seasons how we have these splits. You're not really at the merge yet, but you don't have a buff, but you're not in try, so utilizing the bottom, I think there's a world where it's very, very essential to do so. Because if I'm Mariah, why would she want to be Sega strong after that?
I have
You're
no idea.
5. You were left out of the only vote that you guys went to after X amount of days. So you're bonding for so long, and then you get lied to. They could have easily brought her in and blindsided Gem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think, well, she did say how, like, something that a lot of people say in Survivor, which I never understood and never will understand, is you should go with the devil you know rather than the devil you don't. Um, if the if the devil you know is a devil, why would you go with them? Try to make friends with the other people that you haven't met yet. If you know that the other people are not going to be loyal to you. I just thought it was silly to stick with Siga and pretend like they're all united when she knows that probably a few votes down the road when a Siga eventually will have to go. They can't just stay 5 strong the entire way through until they have majority. She's going to be the first one they pick off because they were the only person. She was the only person left out of the vote.
Right. Yeah. So we'll get
But I
into
also think that
yeah, go ahead.
I also think that in this season specifically, um, and just seasons in general, I guess it kind of makes sense that I thought that people on the bottom who would want to flip would easily be able to flip, but that's the case. I feel like at a tribe swap, at the
Yeah.
merge, you kind of need to have you want to make sure you're safe for the first few votes, so you kind of want to get together a bunch of people in the majority of the other tribes to take out the people that they don't trust who's on the bottom to make sure that you're staying in the majority for the first few votes. Because if you try to pull in just one person on the bottom from another tribe, that's not really giving you much numbers. Rather than if you take the 3 people in the majority from another tribe, you just got 3 votes to save you. So I think that also made it tough for Venus specifically, and also would have still made it tough for Mo if she said she was on the bottom.
Yeah. Well, I want to
I
talk a
don't know.
little
I think
bit.
I thought
Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
I was thinking about that, not saying anything. I think, all right, the new era, we've seen Marianne do that and win. She went into the merge and she stayed tribe strong, even though the tribe voted for her. And it worked out in her favor. And Mo is a pretty smart player. I feel like she, like you said, the devil you know, right? And at the end of the day, like everyone got a knife in their hand when you play Survivor. Everyone got their own agenda, and she don't know Q. Q was the only one. She even said it is that was really questioning her hard. So I feel like if she would have came clean to Q right then and there, that was her best bet. But outing him, or because Q would have been trying to come after her, and I feel like her best chance was to convince everyone to come after her right then and there. And if she did, that was her chance to play her shot in the dark because she played her shot in the dark, and we know how the shot in the dark is actually played now. When you play it, when everyone isn't voting for you, you have a chance on it saying not take. So I feel like she should have just, you know, she felt like she knew she was going home, like she said in her exit interview. She should have just said, "Yeah, I'm on the bottom. Fuck whatever." Pull the Venus, but she got to do it before Tribal, and to have everyone actually vote for her. And when she do that, she play her shot in the dark, which she did, and it would be successful. But maybe
exactly. It was definitely too little, too late. She should have done it, even if it was like 30 minutes before Tribal, like at least something.
Like I said, her strategy on staying secret strong isn't a bad strategy because people like Marianne has did it in one, in the new era.
The thing is, it's a bad strategy if your tribe has majority going into the merge. Marianne's tribe had 4, which was not the majority. I think that was the middle number.
They all had 4.
What?
That's what I'm saying. This one had.
Oh, did they all have 4? Also, a lot of people in that season was stupid to let all 4 of them make a final 6. That was ridiculous. But yeah, Marianne, it definitely worked for Marianne. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Didn't look like it was really going to work this season. But it could have, because Venus was going up to people and saying, "Hey, I'm on the bottom. Like, let's work together." But Mo wasn't doing that. So if somebody was going up to Mo and saying, "Hey, are you on the bottom?" and then she said yes, then they would feel like they're pulling in a number rather than this person on the bottom is just strategizing too hard.
Right.
Yeah. And then also Mo getting targeted from Q because her favorite player is Aubrey. Like, most people's favorite players are good Survivor players. Like, that shouldn't be a reason you target someone because they like someone who played the game well.
Yeah, like I love players that I would play nothing like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's the best way to answer that question?
I don't know. Just I guess not answering it in front of Q.
I feel like do you say someone like not as like I feel like I would say I'd be like Keith now.
I love
that
Keith
would be
now,
a great
actually.
answer.
The fireman that died.
Yeah.
He's actually one of my favorites. He's hilarious. No, but I seen the Purple Pants podcast when they was talking about it, and they said the best strategy I think for that approach is just say whatever fucking Mariah's played. Like basically, her name is Mariah, and like, hey, I loved all the other Mariahs.
Yeah, all the ones that went home early.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I'm just playing for our other Mariah. Mariah is a generic name. You can say whatever, and I feel like that's stupid, but Q, he couldn't think too much into it because he can just laugh it off. Like, oh, she's pretty funny.
I think he's also just trying to find some reason to target them.
Exactly, he is.
Yeah, even if it's stupid, just find any reason to target someone. All right, so yeah, let's finish off real quick. Episode 5. Something funny I wanted to mention was Tim said how he has not pooped since he's been on the island, or for at least a very long time. I thought that was funny. So Tim thinks that Jem has the Beware advantage. And he's coming at Jem hard with alliance questions, idol questions. I thought that was kind of crazy that how he was really drilling her. I mean, it made it pretty obvious that Tim was against Jem and that Jem was lying to Tim because Jem was like, "Oh, I think I'm on the bottom. I'm not close with anyone." Um, so yeah, that was definitely an awkward conversation. It was pretty obvious that they were working against each other at that point. Um, but Jem finds the idol before tribal, so she gets her vote back. She has it ready to play if she thinks she needs it, but she was completely blindsided. Um, there's Ben and Tim on one side, Jem and Mariah on the other, Charlie and Maria in the middle. Charlie wants to keep Ben, Mariah wants to keep Jem, but it looks like Charlie ended up winning the battle against Maria. Why do you guys think that they ended up siding with the guys rather than the girls?
I personally think it's because they saw how hard Jem was playing towards that final day that she was there, and I think that also Charlie and Ben. Like, how do you vote Ben out, especially first off your tribe? Like,
Yeah,
we'll see. Like, we'll talk about it later on. But when he gets voted for by Mariah, he was like, Lonnie, he was like, it's okay, like it's cool. Like, I can't see him ever even having like ill will or like any like animosity towards anybody. And I think that Ben is like would be a stupid choice to vote off because I feel like Ben is just going to be loyal to his alliance. Whoever he's deeply aligned with is where he's just going to be loyal to, and we've seen signs of that later on. And I think Charlie knows that, and I think that Charlie sees a future with just him and Maria, with Charlie being main character energy real quick. He has Maria on one side, he has Ben on one side, and if it came to down the line to make a move, having Ben on your side to maybe take out a Maria if she becomes too threatening, he just ultimately, I think Charlie
yeah,
ultimately knows he could keep Ben closer than he would ever be able to keep Jen.
absolutely. He made it. He made a great move. That was perfect for his game. I don't know why Maria ended up going with that. I originally thought before seeing episode 6 that Tim must have told Maria about the alliance. So now she's thinking, okay, well, if we get down to just us four, at least I have Tim to make a move on Ben, and then Charlie has Ben to make a move on Tim. So she feels like she's on a level playing field with Charlie going into this alliance. So that's what I thought was the reason. But apparently, we find out Tim does not tell Maria about this alliance. So it just makes me wonder why Maria ended up siding with Charlie on this, especially when she has the extra vote that she was able to use. So I feel like she should have had more power in terms
And
of
that's another thing too. Like she ended up using her extra vote when Ben didn't even have a vote. So
that was
Charlie
silly.
can't. It was super silly. And
Yeah.
now look at them. And I don't know. Maria, she got duped. She went to the wrong side. She should have went with the side with the power, meaning Jim, who had the idol. Not. I mean, I love Ben just like Pat, but I mean, he is the dude that you don't want to go far, and he got a great attitude. And now look at him. They don't even think about him anymore. And it's like that's dangerous.
Yeah, he's
So
dangerous. He's gonna be right there at the end. I already know it.
and he's funny as hell. And it's like when him and Jim had that little back and forth, like I felt
Oh,
like
with
his
the
whole
machete and the hammer.
exactly,
That was
and,
awesome.
he was joking with her the whole time because I felt like he knew he was in a great position. And even Mariah even said it in the next episode. Uh, he was answering questions at tribal, like he knew he wasn't going home because he's just like he got so much love for the people out there. He feel it, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. He's a good dude, and I feel like that was the chance to go after him because he was already telling his tribe, I don't know if I have a vote or I don't. And if you want to risk your fucking extra vote pre-jury or first tribal now, that's stupid. Like I would never. Like hell no, especially if you're not in trouble.
I
I'm
don't know
and
why they
Charlie,
used
you're
it
not
if
in
they didn't
trouble.
have to.
They weren't even splitting the vote. I would understand using it if you were going to split the vote, but they didn't split the vote. So why? You knew you would have had the numbers regardless.
Yeah.
Because I guess there's a
Because she
chance.
flipped. Because she flipped. So they had the numbers. I don't know why. If she
I
took look,
actually I think there's a chance it could have been because Ben and Tim both went on the journey, and if both of them were lying and they both lost their vote, then it would have been a 2-2 vote and it could have went to rocks. So I think that could have
Tim
been
came
why.
back and said what he did, and then no
But
one
he could have
believed
been
him.
lying.
But yeah, he could have been lying. But only person that called him out was Jim in the confessional, right? And if she's the only person that called out Tim, I feel like no one really has no real other reason to doubt Tim except to think he has an advantage or an idol. I wouldn't think he lost anything by coming back and saying that out loud. If anything, he's had something. That's it. That's
Mhm.
all I would have thought. If anything, he had something. He ain't losing shit. Now we're going to tribal. We can't go after Tim right here because we don't have the numbers. So we got the person that's blatantly saying he's not sure. That's the option that I would have took because Jim now she's already chaotic. She shows a different side of herself when it's finally tribal time. Everyone can throw her under the bus when it comes to fucking time. And then look, she would play the idol, and then it would have been on somebody else. So like I don't know,
Yeah,
bad play by Sega.
it could have been also because like why it kind of was a stupid idea to have Maria use the extra vote is Tim, if he was truly in an alliance with Maria and Charlie and Ben, he would have let them know, hey, I lost my vote, because why lie about it if it gets like exposed that tribal? Because Ben might have lost his vote. So if Tim actually did lose his vote and it becomes a 3-2 vote, you can kind of tell based on Jeff reading the votes that somebody lost their vote. So I think Maria maybe like should have realized that Tim was obviously not lying. Um, but I also think I mean, this was a few episodes ago, but I think it was smart that Ben said that he didn't know if he got an advantage or lost his vote until tribal council, rather than just saying flat out he lost his vote, because that allowed it to factor in a little less into their decision. Because if he lost his vote right off the bat, maybe it could have went a different way because he has a disadvantage.
Right. Well, we see that Jem gets blindsided here, and I
Oh
wanted
yeah, why'd they split the vote on Ben over Tim when they thought Tim had the idol? Like the girls, they wanted to split it 3-2, three on Ben, two on Tim to flush the idol. But if you wanted to flush the idol because you thought Tim had it, why wouldn't you put three on Tim?
I know I went back and forth with that, and I don't know. I think it's silly.
What do you think, Jay West?
Sure.
Uh, Honestly, I think thinking about Tim was the smartest option because he's playing like he's playing now, and we was never seeing it. He's really sketchy. Because that means he's not really opening up to his tribe. He really isn't. He really isn't. You know, telling anybody that he has a number one. So I feel like yeah, like, I would have put majority of the votes on Tim just to try to flush whatever you think he has. But right now Tim is now in a good position because he brought more information to Maria that's new, and now Maria has options to either play with him in the new numbers or you know get rid of the other side with Tim because Tim is the person with the ears, but realistically he's on the bottom of that six, but he's in a good position too. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of players left.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, all right, so we covered episode 5. We already talked a little bit about episode 6, but let's keep trucking along with our Mergatory episode. So they're told to drop their buffs, and now they're all going to the same beach. Definitely a good choice for Survivor to do Nami's beach. Obviously, that was the best shelter because of Hunter, Survivor MacGyver.
They should have made him suffer.
Yeah. They should have chose a different beach so that Hunter could continue to build cooler
Exactly. They should have sent him back. They should have sent him to 45 Lulu
stuff. Exactly.
and just chill and like see what they scrap
Or
together.
or Yanu, where they were literally sleeping under the cave.
Yeah. Survivor Fiji style.
Yeah. So once they find out that the everyone's coming to Nami's camp, Hunter gets the extra information about how to get the idol, because they never lost an immunity challenge. And he needs to find it quickly before they get there, because once they all get there, there's going to be so many people around the camp, and it's going to be very difficult to go out and search for this idol when everyone's around, everyone's trying to talk and whatnot. So it was smart for him to rush, and he was able to find it, figure out the riddle, find the key underneath the stairs, get the idol. Now Hunter and Tiffany are the only two with idols currently in the game.
Thank God. I hate when there's like 5 idols in the game. But
Yeah. Or yeah, with three of them probably being fake, like in
yeah,
44.
can't even follow what the hell's going on. But yeah, I mean Hunter's super good stuff going on there. He's in a good spot there.
Hmm.
I loved how like all three people for their be like had different tasks. I like that it wasn't like the same task. I think they've done that like a couple times now, but I like that it was like a different task. Some were a little easier than others though. I feel like Hunter's was like a little bit more easier than like
Yeah.
solving
I
like
think.
a riddle with like all these characters. I don't
Yeah, I thought the riddle was gonna be a lot harder, and then when it just like literally like said one of the lines like the steps, and then that was pretty easy to
yeah.
figure out. But like we were saying, Venus is playing really hard, trying to strategize with everyone, dropping names to different people, saying like, "Oh, like I don't trust Tevin, like we should get Tevin out." She seems to, in her confessionals, to think that she has a lot of power in the game, but she really doesn't at all. She's just
Very
completely
refreshing though
oblivious.
in a sense because I like her go for it attitude because
Yeah,
I see
me
so
too.
many people in the new era so reserved to make those kind of splashes, and she's not afraid to be a little villainous, and that's a little refreshing to see
Hmm.
because she doesn't give a shit. She'll be like, I hate those people. They're annoying. And she'll like she's gonna try to do whatever she can to get control, and it's very entertaining to watch someone that has absolutely no control try to gain some type of control. But I think that although there was some flaws, I think this was a good episode for her. I do. Even though she survived even though her name is out there, her name's going to continue to be out
Like
there.
strategically, you think like she's
No,
now set up
I
better?
no, I don't know that it was good strategy, but I think her positioning got better than it would have been.
I
Yeah, I
think
guess
I
it
think it was
got
a good
better,
episode.
but barely.
I think it got better because look, her and Soda, they showed in the episode that her and Soda wasn't getting along, right? And even when she made that pitch before going to tribal that Charlie is safe while all the other guys are safe, who said, Soda? Soda kind of agree with her. So now if people are starting to hear bold Venus out with other people, that's better for Venus. And granted, she don't have to play with Nami anymore, and they're gonna eventually need her. They're gonna at least try to lie to her so she don't play her fucking shot in the dark. But I feel like someone is going to want to save her.
I wonder if
Someone.
Siga does because they just lost Mo.
I think Kenzie liked Venus a lot too. I've
That'd be
seen a lot of pictures and
Oh,
videos
really?
with them next to each other. So I don't know. That's just my me
Okay,
thinking
interesting.
big brain in it, I guess.
Hmm. That'd be wild if she wins immunity next time because it's going to be like the split tribal. And then, can help because can cause some chaos and truly have the power that she says she has.
I mean,
yeah.
it's a huge possibility that she can go home too. Next, too. I mean, anyone can go now, and that's why I love this new. Like, everyone's bashing Survivor now. Right now, it's slow, it's this, is that. But now it's to the point where no one knows who's going home. Everyone, we all had a community target every fucking episode. We all wanted Bono to go home. Everyone, and he wasn't going home. He was just getting confessionals. But now that he's gone, we're like, what's happening next? Because we never had any fucking real idea what those other tribes were doing. And now that we're seeing people with those cracks finally go home, it's beautiful. And it's like I love Blind Sides more than the next. So it's like I love being surprised.
Yeah. Um, so Tim not telling Maria about the alliance until even after Q tried to talk to Maria. What do you guys think of that? That he waited to tell her. Um, I thought that was a silly move. I think he should have said it right off the bat, especially when they were about to go to tribal. Say like, "Hey, you and I are going to be set up really well going into the merge because we have this alliance also. You don't have to work with them if you don't want to, but just know that that's an option for us." Like that, I thought that would have even helped his chances of Maria siding with them and also pulled Maria closer to him. Um, the whole Tim saying, "Oh, I wanted Maria to make her own opinions on the people and then be okay with it." Like, just tell them, "Hey, like these are the people that want to work with us," and then you can like focus on making good relationships with them after knowing that knowledge. So I thought it was silly not to wait, but what do you guys think?
I think for me, it comes to a point where what was I thinking about this? I was thinking I had a very specific point for this. You know, we know that Maria has stated in the edit like a couple times, and wouldn't be surprised if she's expressed this to people that she's working with. Like, she's not here to play anyone else's game. She's here to play her game. So maybe he was a little reserved on like he had to maybe come up with a way and pitch it to where it really, sounds like good for her. Like, how is this good for her? Because if someone comes up to me and is like, I want to position us like 2-2-2 like this. It's like, okay, like I've made all these other connections. It's like it's good to have options, but it's like where do I stand in that six? Right? So it's about coming up with the right way to tell someone that you want them to be a part of something without them having the fear of like you making that decision for them. Right?
Right.
So it's about that balance. And it also seems like Tim isn't very he doesn't have a lot of urgency. I feel like he's kind of just like
He's a
even
little
in this
reserved.
episode, we'll see. He's like, yeah, I'll let her know, but before nightfall. It's like the way that Q was saying was like, no, like grab her now and talk to her right now. And he's like, I'll talk to her before, like it's kind of like, like I'll take the trash out in the morning before work, and then you never take the trash out before work in the morning because you woke up late.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things to where I feel like he was maybe lacking a little bit about that urgency, but there's another world where he prioritizes keeping the Sega 5 strong, even though I think he's even said that he really does feel good about this Journey 6. He's trying to kind of secure both sides of what he's working on
Yeah.
without one bleeding too far into the next. Maybe it's left out of that. Maybe he knows maybe Charlie and Maria are a lot closer than we think that they think they know. One of those things. So it's all about what's missing as a viewer and how
Right.
it translates to their gameplay.
And I also think with like how Tim was saying he doesn't want to commit early to things because sometimes that's backfired on people in the past.
Yeah,
Um, y- I understand that, and I also don't at the same time. Like, if you eventually realize you don't want to work with them and then you turn on them early after already committing, then you have a bunch of enemies. But if you commit to it and say, and like act like you're really into it, now you have so many people protecting you. You have your Sega people, you have your cross tribal alliance from the journey. You're in a great spot. And if you show hesitancy, it's going to make the other people hesitant about working with you too, like it is with Hunter and Q. So I don't know. Like, I kind of understand you don't want to make enemies by turning on someone after agreeing to an alliance, but at the same time, you should always just yes man everything and just be like, yeah, like I'm definitely down for that. Like, let's do it, and
Um,
like just so that you can have protection.
I don't know. I mean, half of me saying you're right and half of me saying you're wrong because for me, I'm thinking like this. I'm like, why does Q hold so much position? Because this alliance, this future alliance, this Journey 6 alliance benefits Q the best. He's the only one with three people from his tribe. Tim and Hunter are both in a great position, but Hunter is very fortunate to hop on this now because he lost his votes. But he do need a backup alliance because he kind of want to get out the people that's annoying him, like the people that's singing, like Soda and shit like that. So it's benefit for Hunter as well. But for Tim, he's really vibing with his tribe. And to have a backup alliance in his pocket is good. But it's like you're hearing this from Q. If it was coming from Tim, I mean, if it was coming from Hunter, maybe I'll be on board right away because we got the same amount of tribe mates. But Q, you're coming at me with a desperate approach. And yeah, it sounds good in theory, but realistically, it's because you need help. You do. It's going to be a time that you come short and like we have an individual immunity and let's just say he gets or Tiff gets safe. He is up for grabs. Kenzie is up for grabs. He's going to pitch Kenzie. Kenzie's going to catch wind of that. And, what is he going to do? Expose the six in front of everybody because he's so bold? And it's like, yo, bro, it doesn't work. It only works for you, you know?
yeah.
Mhm.
There's just as much reward in it as much as risk because if you're a Sega or you're let's go with Siga because they're more of a cohesive tribe as far as like being a strong five rather than Nami, where there's cracks all over the house, as Q said. Right. So like think about it, like the risk and the reward are kind of in the same, like they're in the same suit there, because the reward is, yeah, you have you have the other four people on your Siga tribe who are going to protect you, and then you just have, and then you have four more people through that journey of six alliance. So you have eight people that could have the possibility to shut your name down if it comes out, or have it come back to you in a way to where you know what to do with it. But the risk is there's a lot of people that this information can get out, because if you're in a Sega 4, or if you're in the Sega 5, right? But you're also in the Journey 6. If someone like a Charlie gets wind of that and blows up the whole thing, well, then you have all these people that might turn against you. So there's the more cooks in the kitchen, sometimes the worse. So that's the risk sometimes of being in these two big alliances, like an alliance of 5 and an alliance of 6. So there's dangers in both, but I really think that ultimately I wanted to see it really like all six people like be on board, because it would be so cool to have like a silent killer like type type alliance, like kind of like imagine if they were the final six and they predicted it
That
the
would be pretty
16.
cool.
That'd be
Yeah.
a cool story. And it's two people from all three tribes, and it's kind of like anyone's game at that point.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm really rooting for that alliance. Hopefully it does really work out where
It won't.
Charlie still stays in, and who else? I guess that's the only person I really care about other than the people in that alliance. Um, but yeah, I know it's not going to. I wonder if they can somehow survive this next double all intact, then I can see them starting to turn on each other, because there's no way they're going to actually get down to the six. Like even if they make it to eight, let's say, with all six of them, like they're thinking like, oh, like I need to make sure that I have the numbers going into the final seven. Like let me set myself up by turning on them first. And so, yeah, I don't think they're getting to the six, but that would be cool.
Well, what if next week, what if this Journey 6 were one of the groups of six?
That would be wild.
Who
That's
goes?
wild. I want that. I want it so bad.
Because then that new six would have to turn on each other.
Yep.
It'd be 2-2-2. So it's kind of like who goes where.
What do you think would happen? I mean, I kind of know what would generally happen, but what do you
I
think?
honestly, I think, huh? It depends how Q is at camp, because I can see it turning back on Q. But at the same time, it could be like a Tim or Maria. But I think like Hunter, Tevin, and Tiffany would be like automatically safe.
Yeah. And I think that definitely down the line, Q will be a target for Hunter and Tevin eventually. But I think right now, surprisingly enough, even more so than any of the Nami members, I think Hunter and Tevin are really close with Q and Tiff. I think they're like their next like biggest allies in the game right now. So I think that definitely Asiga would have went home if that's the case, if they have to turn on each other, especially because of Tim's hesitancy.
Yeah.
That is making Q and Hunter even bond even more, because they are showing how much they want to do this alliance, but Tim isn't. Um, but I don't know if it would be Tim or Maria, to be honest. Um, but yeah, I it's definitely going to be interesting to see that whole dynamic with Yanu and Nami, like the two top people from those tribes in that six-person alliance. I think that's going to be a tight alliance moving forward, and I can see all four of them making it far into the game. So let's get to this Mergatory Immunity Challenge with yet another boulder. I think every single time there's been some sort of gigantic boulder that they have to push or climb up or something. Like be a little bit more creative. Come on, Survivor.
Yeah, I love the boulder though. I'm a
Do
fan
you?
because it's hard as shit, and you have to be strategic with it. It's not just about being physical. Like you saw the one fucking tribe built like a human ladder to get the hell up the boulder. Uh, I love that kind of stuff, because we'll talk about it later on in this challenge here, because we see that every single person has to be a part of the puzzle. I would have an anxiety attack I would avoid
Mhm.
puzzles at all costs. So that would be my nail in the coffin there. If we lost, it was totally my fault. If we lost, it would be my fault. That's 100%. That would be on me. But I love the boulder. I think it's fun. I'm surprised no one's gotten seriously hurt yet, but I think it's fun.
Mhm. Yeah, I thought someone would get hurt from the rolling of it and all that, but I guess not. But at least they didn't have to do that here. I like
Would
the
you would
boulder. I
you
just think it's
would you
silly having it all the time.
would you rather undig the boulder? Because I seen Abby. She said her season they had to undig that big ass boulder and push
That
it.
is torture.
No, I'd rather climb.
No.
Exactly. I'd
I'd
rather
rather,
climb it.
yeah, I'd rather
So the
climb.
same. But it's like that boulder is tough. I love it as well. It's hard as hell, but it brings camaraderie. Like I feel like once everyone shows that we had to work together to use your own body to get up that thing, it's like yeah, we got something. We got something, man. We can do anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like the boulder too. I just don't like that it's every single time. Like, give us one season without it, bring it back so that it's like, oh yes, we got the boulder back. But like when it's just so all the time, like, I want them to be a little more creative with these challenges. Like some of them are awesome, like that I would love to see over and over and over again. But in reality, I don't want to see it every single time. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So we had one of the most unfair, unlucky draws.
Should have had the damn hourglass this year.
Yeah, right.
Not like it would have been smashed, but
Yeah, it wouldn't have been because
uh,
Tiffany would have wanted to keep them safe. Um, but yeah, we have Orange Tribe, Mariah, Venus, Soda, Maria, Liz, and Charlie. So we have Charlie's Angels on one team. And then we have Purple Tribe, Tevin, Q, Hunter, Tim, Ben, and Kenzie. We got Kenzie's men. And then we have Tiffany drawing the gray rock and betting on purple. I, going into this, thought orange was going to win because of the puzzle. I thought that they would have a lead purple, but I thought maybe orange could make up for it on the puzzle.
looked like they were gonna win too.
They were way behind physically, and then they almost won in the puzzle. So if it was a little more evenly matched getting to the puzzle, Orange would have went away with it for sure. So it definitely made it interesting. Um, but we ended up having purple win, and now we have all the people on Orange uh, possibly up for the vote. I really
Let's
like.
say
Oh yeah, go ahead.
my fault. Let's say us three are on the same boulder or the circle, right? Doing the puzzle. Which
Yep.
part would y'all want to go first, second, or third?
Whatever's the easiest.
I I like puzzles, so I probably would do the middle section to help out my tribe, but Pat would probably do the first section.
I think what is wise
I
is
would rather you go last than if you because I have confidence because all right our game I went head to head against Kayla in the puzzle in the mergatory for her to get that extra rope that made you go home.
Mhm.
But I almost beat her, but she beat me. But that's because I'm confident with puzzles. But I'm not great. Pat, I feel like puzzles are a thing that anyone can do, but under the pressure, it's nerve wracking. Like physical challenges is like hard as hell for anyone. But like you said, go back to that Hunter not knowing every season. That's just like a physical challenge. That's how I think. Like if you have a physical challenge, a weak person definitely don't have a chance. But if you are a Survivor super fan, then you have a chance. If you're
yeah.
not a
Yeah,
Survivor,
I agree with that. Just like you could be good at puzzles, but the fact that you're on Survivor with all the nerves running through you, like I would consider myself really good at puzzles, but there's been plenty of times in games that I've played in person where I can't solve a puzzle just because like in the moment, like
the pressure,
everything's
yeah.
going through the pressure is
But
going through my
but you
brain.
know
So
that you're anticipating a puzzle going into a game. Like you know for a fact you're going to see a puzzle at least once. So
mhm.
you like, and you know for a fact you're going to be some type of physical challenge at least once. So at the end of the day, it's like, look, I gotta practice on fire. I gotta practice on swimming. I don't know because all that other shit I ain't really gotta practice on too much because it's going to be here. It's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not going to be the weakest. I'm just going to be in the middle.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
What do
would
you
be
guys
like, can
think
I go
of?
second?
Yeah. What did you guys think of the fact that everyone had to do the puzzle? I liked it. I thought it made
Me
it more
too. I
fair,
liked it.
but what do you guys think?
Um, I'm with it
If they
because
did, yeah,
it evens out the playing field.
Hmm.
yeah, 1000%. I think it. If anything, I feel like that try would have still won because Hunter would have been the one that volunteered to do it the whole time. But
Yeah,
then
he's
that would
the
have just
main
painted
dude.
the yeah, he would have
Yeah.
painted a huger target on his own back because at the end of the day, people would have been like, yo, we're at this point in the game where it's just one person that can get immunity. Hunter is that guy that's going to clean up house. Let's get him out of here now to give us all a shot. Like
Tevin's kind of been the one painting the target on his back. Every single
low
immunity
key,
challenge, we
yeah,
see
he's
Tevin
screaming at
going like,
Michael Jordan.
"Hunter's
Yeah,
got this. Hunter's got it in
exactly.
the bag. Like Hunter's a beast."
Hunter's so getting like 8th place.
I don't know. I feel like he's gonna kind of make it far, which I'm kind of surprised going in. I thought he was gonna, after seeing he's doing really well in challenges, that he's gonna be an early target. But I don't know. I feel like there's just plenty of people in the game to target that they might not think it's a big deal unless Hunter starts winning a lot. Like he was doing great pre-merge, but if he doesn't win the first few immunity challenges at merge and he's with people he can trust, like at the double or like after the game, like the rounds afterwards, like he could be set up pretty well. I
So
don't
there,
see him getting to the end, but
well,
I could see him going far.
there is a world where he has, like, let's just say he is aligned in a really good spot and he is a part of the majority, taking out people. Like once the jury starts at like the final 11, final 10, he loses immunity, he's in a good spot. Final 9, he loses, he's in a good spot. And then like final 8, he starts winning, like 8, 7, 6. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Hunter's in the final 5 at a chance to maybe make fire. Like
Yeah. I think people are definitely going to be scared of that.
with an idol.
Yeah. With an
Yeah.
idol.
So
I think he's definitely going to play his idol right. For some reason, I feel like it's going to be a good idol play. I don't know. I really want it to be though. Yeah. Um, so we get the merge feast, and Nami easily throws out Venus's name as a possible vote, and Siga takes a very long time to mention a name and is saying like, oh, like Ben and Tim are talking about like, oh, like we're all so close. We just had tribal,
yeah,
blah,
that that
blah,
that
like
is making the target so
red
much
flag.
bigger because
Yeah.
it's like as Tiffany says, it's perfect. It's you want to stick maybe with the cracks and find 2 or 3 of those people that are a part of those cracks to vote with you, and then break up the strong 5 because
Hmm.
these are the times where you're going to have the numbers to do so to break up a alliance of 5 on the other side. Ben, come on, man, put out Mariah's name. She wrote your name down. And
Yeah.
she's on the bottom, and she's vulnerable, and you and Tim aren't. So throw out Mariah, especially if you want to help protect Maria and Charlie, because if you throw out Mariah, that's gonna catch. Because imagine if they're saying nothing, 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 and then Venus is the only name that gets thrown out, and then all of a sudden, before they can do damage control, Maria's name's out there, and they don't want that, right? Mariah, Tim has specifically said he wants her going first. I was very surprised. I could see Ben being a little bit more like conservative in that moment, but Tim, I really expected him to just throw out Mo, and then we see that he
He
does. But
eventually did, but
at
like too
first I
little too
thought he was
late
just gonna
kind
be
of.
like, yeah, it's Mariah. Yeah, it's Mariah. But he's showing that he's playing those 2 sides, that Journey of
Yep.
6 and that Sega 5. But I don't think it would be wise to stick with the Segas. Like I
Yeah.
think
I
think
think
it's
they made the right decision.
important to have those cross tribal lines. Tribal Lines podcast, baby.
Just
That's right. That's right.
just hearing y'all say that, I really think now out loud, Tim is definitely the one on the bottom of that Journey 6 because
Yeah.
Maria has the most power that where she can break up the Journey in 6. Tim is the person who really doesn't have a partner. You know,
Yeah.
Q and Tiffany, they are close, but Tiffany has an idol. Now Hunter has an idol and Tevin has the extra vote. So it's like, look, you got to find that actual person that you really want to bring in this fucking alliance that you really are playing with. Because if Maria doesn't really want to play with you anymore, then it's bad news for Tim.
I don't know if he's gonna figure that out though until it's too late.
Exactly, he's really late. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Tiffany going up to Venus and telling her, vote Mo tonight if you want to stay. I thought that was uh I mean, I guess it makes sense because like Venus was going to be on the bottom no matter what, but I feel like she could have said it a little better than that. Venus definitely took that um not well and got very upset and was like, "Why are we voting out Mo? Like, let's vote out Charlie," because she didn't want to vote out a girl. Um, that didn't really sit well with Q after he heard that. He was mad that Venus was being ungrateful, possibly wanting to vote Venus now. Um, Hunter still wants to do Mo because like it doesn't matter Venus's vote. Like Venus can vote for Charlie. Like if the majority is already on
Yeah,
Mo, it doesn't really matter.
yeah.
Plus we don't need Venus as a number because we're trying to get her out probably next round anyway. So I didn't really think it was as that big of a deal, so it makes sense why it was still unanimous on Mo, pretty much. Besides Charlie's one vote for Venus, which I
That was very
thought
smart.
was very smart. Yeah,
Yeah, because she plays shot in the dark, and Venus voted for Charlie or something like that. Well, then it's not automatically going to be Charlie, right? So
exactly. Yeah.
it would have been Venus. So um, very wise there for Charlie to do that. I want to get everyone's opinion though on Mariah and her inability to fight back until it was too late. That was my that was my thing because at Tribal, I think that she dug herself even deeper. Because if I'm hearing all that come out at Tribal, like yeah, like here I'll tell the truth now at Tribal, I'm like, all right, I'm right here. You know,
Yeah. Also at tribal, like unless there's a live tribal, or unless you're like easily mouthing words to different people about who to change your vote to, like whoever you go into tribal knowing you're going to vote, somebody could say something like terrible, kind of like the whole Banu situation. Like after all the stuff that Banu said in the Jess tribal, um, that should have resulted in Banu going home. But they already had set in motion the plan to vote out Jess. They can't change it now, so they still voted out Jess. I think it's the same situation. Like Mo could have said the greatest thing in the world to Yanu and offered them everything, and Yanu could have trusted them, trusted her, but it would have blown up their game if they tried to change the vote. So Mo was gonna go home no matter what. That's why it was definitely too late,
yeah,
regardless of what she said.
yeah, it was never gonna work out for her.
I
Uh,
feel like she probably found out though, like really soon before tribal.
yeah,
That's my guess. I feel like if she found out earlier, she would have done something, but or maybe not, or maybe she just thought of it at tribal. Who knows? But
yeah. For next week's episode, we see that they're gonna split into the two tribes of six, and it looks like the first try to go to tribal is gonna be the last pre-juror. Like
oh my god,
they're gonna
that's
get
so it's so
seafood.
stupid, Jeff. So
I hate that.
stupid.
It makes me like sad for that person.
I
But that
know.
being said, who's getting seafood? Who do you think? Just an inclination. Who do you think is going to be our last pre-juror? Because the rest of these people
Oof.
we're gonna see them every week, whether they're on the jury or still in the game. So who are we gonna say goodbye to while they go on their little trip to Ponderosa onto their
I'm going with Ben.
Ben?
I
Okay.
think I think we're gonna Ben is about to get seafood. I think Sifu has been shown to be uh a lovable character who wasn't really super strategic in the game. And I think Ben is the same way. He's not really shown too much as a strategist. He's just shown as a lovable person. I think he kind of has the same type of edit. And I know from scenes from the next episode that he seems like it looks like he's in trouble. I also could say that if Siga does not have a majority in one of these sixes and Ben is in the minority, I think they try to take out another Siga to make that tight four now even smaller and make it a tight three. So I could definitely see Ben being the first, the last pre-juror. But yeah, it's just I hate this twist. It's so stupid.
What about you, Jay West?
I hate to say this, but I think it's gonna be Liz. Only reason because if they split it
Liz.
up into, yeah, Liz. If they split up into right now, I don't know what she can do to win immunity right now. And if she don't win immunity, then that means they're gonna think about her, and then just let's think about like her connections, or if not her, it could probably be Soda. But really, I think it could be Liz. Only reason because Soda and Liz are on the same tribe. They have some type of connection. Um, they're they're both not Venus to where they're both not the most hated. So people are going to think about voting them. You know what I'm saying? They're going to think about like, all right, she has a partner, but she isn't really a factor either. You know what I'm saying? So maybe one of those two. But I'm landing on Liz.
I'm gonna
I
go with
feel like
Tim.
if you're gonna go with Tim.
Yeah, I'm going with Tim. I think Tim gonna get sniped right before the jury. That's gonna suck. But I think Tim. I don't know why.
I
I think
could see
he
that too.
got. I think he. I think his edit is just starting to pick up. I think he was basically purpled for the first 4 episodes. Liz is purpled, but I think that's because she's gonna be like a final 3 goat or like or something like that. Like I just feel like she's gonna ride with like Hunter and Tevin, and I think she
Mhm.
inevitably replaces like Soda in that 3, and
Yep.
just kinda is there along for that. But I think it could be Tim. I don't know, just kind of what I'm feeling. I think it could be Tim, or I think it could be Soda. Those are my 2.
Yeah, I also think regardless, like in terms of what Jay West was saying, Soda or Liz, I am siding with Pat on. I think it would be more so Soda. I think Liz is gonna be a goat or just like someone to easily vote out who's on the bottom of in like a future vote.
Yeah.
I don't really know, but it seems like even though she's not really getting much of an edit, she seems like she's just getting a I'm gonna go far in the game and not really be a part of that much strategy type of edit. Um, I could definitely see Ben or Tim. I could see Soda just based on her like positioning in the tribe. She could be an easy target next round. Um, but I also feel like she's gonna make the jury. I don't know. I feel like she is gonna make the jury. I don't think she'll do well, but I think she'll make the jury. But I think Soda has a better chance over Liz at getting out next episode.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So
A lot of shit is happening in these scenes from the next episode.
yeah,
Um,
I love those. I look forward to those. Like it'll be like halfway through the episode. I'm like I'm ready to see what's gonna happen next week.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This
I
one's
think Ben saying
crazy.
that he's going to be screwed is just going to not mean anything at all. Charlie's ready to cut some throats here. Charlie has some very questionable like one-liners or like little cuts. Like I don't know if you remember like the jumping off and saying Taylor Swift in that one challenge. That was such like a merp. You know, like when a kid's like like that was a L. And then when he's like he was doing the salsa dancing or something like that, and he did like the bite thing.
Yeah, that.
That I did not like that. And then he's just very expressive, but he's fun to watch. But it looks like he might have some power next episode because it shows him looking at Maria saying, you know, things are getting like crazy. He looks pretty stressed. There's a chance maybe he's in trouble or he's in power. So I'm excited to see what happens there. And Venus looks
Mhm.
stressed. So
I feel like maybe Charlie and Venus end up on the same tribe.
yeah,
I could
probably.
see it. Kenzie says chaos could break out. Tiffany's talking to Kenzie saying this is not the Q show. This isn't going to work for us. Kind of matching what we were talking about with Q, how, you know, if he's trying to get the way he wants to make sure it was best for his game, but not really taking into account that it might not be better for other things might be better for other people, and that could result in people turning against him. I don't think they're going to turn against him necessarily, but I could definitely see Tiffany and Kenzie getting their way in this next vote rather than Q getting his way. Um, but that would also be crazy if they all end up on the same tribe again. I think that might actually happen.
Yeah, no.
It could be a
It's-
Yanu gets to decide what happens type on one side.
So y'all think it's gonna be another tribe where it's like 3 different tribes again?
3 different tribes? No.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be 2 next week.
Well, we know that 2 people are going home. Do you think
Yeah.
they would ever not do a split and have all of them vote, but like if 2 people get votes like the two people with the most votes goes home or something, or like some
Definitely
weird
is.
twist.
They're definitely gonna have a 6 and 6. That's
Yeah,
how it's
that's what
gonna
I'm
be.
thinking too.
Um, so question. So if we're about to do our pool picks, are we choosing 2 people?
No, we're choosing just one, but there's a double chance of them getting voted out. So this is a crucial pick for us.
Okay, because I've been
Yeah.
thinking, and I think it's time we get into those picks. But I'm
Okay.
thinking to think for a second because I know that I've chosen Liz. She's still there. Soda still there. Tim's still there. Mariah is gone, so I got away with that. Q still there.
Yeah.
So I don't know
And
that.
for our viewers, Pat chose Q for last episode because we weren't able to show it since we didn't have a
Yes,
recap, and
and
I
that's
chose
why.
Venus for episode 6.
Well, that's who I'm choosing now.
You're gonna choose Venus?
Yes,
Wow. Wow.
I'm gonna risk
Risky.
it.
Wow,
I'm
that's
gonna risk
risky.
it. I'm gonna risk it.
Why are you gonna be so risky?
Um, I'm going off one inclination. You want to know why?
Hmm.
My one inclination is that she is going to be in one of the like whatever tribe she's on. She's gonna be the sole person to win immunity.
Ooh.
That's just my. I don't know why. I've got this inclination. That and I think that there's just more left of Venus to say. I don't think she goes. I think she actually has more like wiggle room depending on the way that the cards fall in a tribe of 6 opposed to like when it's like when they get to like 11 and they have to make a big vote, with everybody at one part of the game. I think she might have a little bit more wiggle room with like depending on who's there. So who knows? I'm just gonna
Hmm.
I'm gonna keep it pushing here, but hopefully I don't get eliminated, but I very much could. That's a gamble right there.
It's a gamble, but if it works out, it'll be a great move. So last episode, nobody got eliminated. Nobody picked Mariah. So we still have 13 people left. So if we have 13 people left, still a very unlikely chance that one of us will win. So taking big swings like this, going for Venus, it might and get you even closer to winning.
Yeah.
So
Risk pays off. It's all about Survivor, baby.
exactly, exactly.
Instead of game.
Now this one, so I have chosen Banu, Hugh, Kenzie, Hunter, and Venus. Um, so now I have to choose someone else. I am kind of nervous with all of Nami. I know Asiga is gonna go home, but I I I don't want Charlie to go. I really don't. And I think he's not in the best position on this tribe. I think he was a great position on Siga, but I think on this merged tribe, I think he's not in the greatest position. So I could see him being an early-ish boot in the merge, but I don't necessarily see him being voted out next week. So I'm gonna risk it. It's not as risky as Venus, but I'm gonna risk choosing a Siga and I'm gonna choose Charlie.
Charlie. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I don't think he goes next week.
I
I don't
hope.
think
Yeah.
there's a world where he goes next week, but
Although if he is with Venus and then Venus doesn't go home, then she could be targeting Charlie
yeah,
again.
if they're on the same tribe and Venus wins immunity and I text you and I'm like, yo, rest in peace, Steve.
Yeah, then I'm screwed.
Yeah.
But oh well, if I'm gonna go down on my ship, I'm glad I'm sinking with Charlie because he's my guy. So I'm rooting for him. Jay West, I know that you are not part of this survivor pool, but if you had to choose one person that um, might be a little risky, but you don't think is going home, who would you choose?
Um, I would say Kenzie. Kenzie is someone I like a lot. I really like Kenzie a lot. Strictly because um everyone's overlooking her or like they don't really like they don't think she's a threat right now. I don't know, maybe because those three were safe. And when you look at those three, the first thing you look at is Q, and then you look at Tiffany because he mentioned her. But
Hmm.
Banu, he did say she was the mastermind. And if you guys don't remember that, then that's on y'all.
Hmm.
Or that's on y'all for not believing Banu. But at the end of the day, I think Kenzie is a super threat that people can forget about, and she's so charming. So if she can charm her way to the end, it's lights out. but we talk about next episode. I believe she
Yeah,
she was a big asset in the puzzles, you know. She does a lot, and she even the one that's starting the fires when they was when they was at tribal every time she was the one starting the fires, not Q. So it was like I like Kinsey.
Hmm.
she
Yeah,
definitely she would keep you safe for sure if you were in the pool. I think.
I think so too. Yeah. I for some reason I'm predicting that um all three Yanus are going to be on the same six.
That'd be insane because that would
Yeah.
be like them being together for the whole entire game so far.
Hmm. Hmm. Or at least Tiffany and Kenzie will definitely be together, is my guess.
Very cool. So we got those survivor picks. Hopefully it doesn't, shoot one of us in the foot.
Yeah.
But
We'll keep keeping you
got a
updated.
title to get again. Okay. So I got a title to maintain over here. So I take it
Uh-huh.
very seriously.
Yes, Pat was our reigning champ last season, trying to get a repeat.
That's right. Another dub. But
Hmm.
that's all she wrote for episode 5 and 6. That's about all I got. Jay West, anything you want to say before we get out of the pod here?
Nah, man. Just thanks for having me, boys. Y'all know I'm always down to talk game.
That's right, man.
Uh, keep a lookout for me.
That's right.
Posting more content on the Humble Pie page if you guys want to follow that.
That's right.
And that's about it. It's LRG season, so I'm going to be popping up at some LRGs, showing love. So yeah, turn up.
Sounds great, man. We
Awesome.
appreciate you coming on. Steve, what about you, man? Anything you want to say?
No, not much. Just I'm excited for next episode for the double tribal. Definitely upset that one person's gonna make the jury and one person isn't, just based on one person doing better than another in an immunity challenge. Very silly. I feel like it would be better to split people up 6 and 5 at final 11, but and then do a double there. But, I'm not Jeff Probst and I can't make the decisions, so it is what it is. But I do want to thank you, Jay West, for hopping on, being our first guest host of the season. We had a great time recapping with you. Always love when you hop on, so definitely come back whenever you want.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well,
All
we will
right.
see you all next week for the next episode. Double tribal, 2 people going home. We will get all into that. Make sure you DM us on Instagram the answer to the trivia question, and we will see you all on the flip side. Appreciate it. See you.
Thanks, guys.